I'm ready. There's no shine, but we're still gonna boom, baby, boom, rise and shine. You're light into this world. My name is Mark Saint. This is Saint's Addiction. Every morning I wake up with a mission to reach, preach, and teach to people, man. And this morning's marijuana motivation is going to be a hitter because I have something in mind. Every morning I start with like a lesson plan I used to teach. And this morning's, stretch when I'm out here stretching and morning motivation. I can't believe how cold it is. I was sweating yesterday, and now I got to have the purple mushroom hoodie on just to do the stretching this morning. But we can keep the door open and chill the fuck out. But I'm gonna ask you something, and it's gonna be a tough question to ask, but I gotta ask you this morning: what stops you? And I'll ask it again: what stops you? And then you got Saints Addiction, right? Because in Saints Addiction, I had a mission in my mind, right? I had this real talk with myself, that all of a sudden I had all this energy, bro. I had all the energy in the world when it came to my habits, my addictions, my wants, my desires. If it was some pussy up on top of the building, I was Spider-Man. If it was some cookies at 4 o'clock in the morning, it was definitely coming with some ice cream. And if it was some cocaine and some alcohol, I thought it was a dream. These things were drilling holes in my canoe the whole time, and I had nothing but to do but point at other motherfuckers like I was the fucking Spider-Man meme, like, which one of you motherfuckers smoked all my weed? Me. Which one of you drank all the alcohol? Me. Which one of you started sleeping with women that didn't appreciate me? Me. What was one of those that was thinking he was going to find a wife at a bar? Me. Who was out there trying to fucking think that a shot of Patron Silver, a line of Coke, and a Corona with lime was a win? Me. And in these things, in these desires and wants and feelings, I realized your feelings are lying to you, bro. And if you don't believe me, read the book. There's an actual book, and there's a free audio book on YouTube. We'll see if I can get my editor to post it below. But the link, you can look it up, is don't believe everything you think. Don't believe everything you think, because a lot of us, we think so many negative thoughts we can't even see straight. A lot of us are always all up in our head telling ourselves the most negative reinforcements, the most negative shit you could ever believe, and we're believing it. Usually it comes from our parents, so you're just like your dad. You'll never be a millionaire. You're always on the couch. Look at your life. Like they could point. Like, look at your life. Don't be over here trying to look at my life, bro. I mean, look at your own life. This is my life, homie. You decide yours. The reason it decided me is because I didn't quit. And unfortunately, but fortunately, all the trials and tribulations that were sent to kill me didn't. And that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And unfortunately, I had to grow strong from beyond my scope of rationale, beyond my scope of emotionality. I didn't know I could survive multiple abortions. I didn't know I could survive multiple miscarriages. I didn't know I could survive multiple breakups. I didn't know I could survive homelessness. I didn't know I could survive prison. I didn't know I could survive. And here I stand looking at you, a survivor. And when I hear people tell me what's going to stop them or what stops them from growing, I'm like, that's what stops you? That's what ends your dream? This is the excuse that you tell yourself when you're in your deathbed and all your dreams are standing around, not your parents, not your kids, not your loved ones, but your dreams are around your bed going like, we could have been something, homie. We could have been as bright, as shiny as it is in your head, but you let us down. That's what we're having this conversation this morning, because something in your brain has stopped you. And we have to identify these things. Usually it's emotions, usually it's fear, and usually it's the other side of hard work. But we're going to go into these this morning as I do my morning marijuana motivation. Kick somebody in the motherfucking face. Bam! Let me get this. I was always running in the morning. Anyway, so when you are at your wit's end, and homie, you will be. Who said what's up? Sup Nation Studios, Mr. 11 years old. You shouldn't be watching me. This isn't made for kids, bro. Trust me, kid. I got no weed to smoke this morning. This kid's been blowing me up all night long talking about I'm 11. And I'm like, how are you watching this show? This is not for adults. You must be in an adult's channel because I said not for kids. And yet you must be on your parents' line and being 18 and above to watch me smoke weed. He said laugh out loud. Yeah, I know what's going on. So, kid, while you're watching an adult, you might have to ask yourself too, right now, what do I want to be when I grow up? Because a lot of the times we do have these ideas at your age of what we want to be when we are what we are. And when I was your age, I wanted to be an archaeologist. I wanted to be Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade. I wanted to find relics in the desert. I was obsessed about history and natural museums. Everything fit for me in that regard because it looked like so much fun. Then I took a college course in archaeology, and then it was no fun. It was just a lot of people digging in the dirt under direct sunlight, really boring work. You rarely get ahead. It was all dread. So the reality versus the dream are two different things. It's like Instagram versus reality, right? We have this dream inside of us, which is a vision for most people if you let it be a vision, or you have the reality of, oh man, I don't have enough money, or they don't support me, or this happen, right? So in these vibes, right? And they are vibes, we can choose to pay attention to them. We can choose to listen to the vibe in our head that go, I ain't got no money, so just let that thought stop you. Just stop right now. It stops you. You ain't got enough money. It ain't ever gonna happen. It reminds me of the movie Good Will Hunting, because he did the same thing. He's like, bro, if you're still here with your genius mind, I'm gonna fuck you up myself, right? Like if you're still here, like with your genius mind, still knocking out bricks, doing demolition work, it's the same thing I told my buddy Mika. Mika is a genius, bro. He fucking reads chemistry and could be a lawyer and could be a chemist and could be an attorney and all these other things. And what does he do? He does methamphetamines, right? So that's what stops him, right? Like you got to ask yourself and get real with yourself, because to thy own self be true. When you start asking yourself, and that's what Saints Addiction had to do, like what was stopping me, bro? Usually it's my attitude. I'll be honest with you. Like if I'm so fired up and then someone's not as passionate as me, I out-passion them, you know, and that might scare some people away. You know, I haven't been exactly patient. I haven't exactly been listening. And these are all skill sets that I needed to learn to be an effective entrepreneur and to be an effective leader. But those are skill sets that I didn't have. So those are the skill sets that stop me. A lot of the things that try to stop us are usually emotional. Like my girlfriend was saying this morning, this is my hell. And I was just like, oh my God, bro, like this is my heaven. And if we look at it, these kind of things, you know, you can put yourself in a mental hell. Really, you can. Truthfully, you can live it in there your whole life. It's almost purgatory incarnate, because that's what we do, right? It's unfortunately, but it's true. What we do and the way we talk to ourselves and the way we respond to those emotions will dictate the rest of our lives. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. It's like you didn't see it, but like your habits are defining your behaviors, and your behaviors are your characteristics, and it's character, content of character that dictates how people perceive you. So most people, they're trying to control their reputation outside of them, but they're not trying to control their self-discipline. And that's like what are we doing here in the 21st century? How is this going to add up? How are you going to get yourself motivated enough to get out of your patterns, to get out of the bullshit that you've been doing and been screwing and expecting different results, but you screwed yourself out of them? Yeah, I'll wait. And then the worst part, if you're willing to face yourself, if you're really willing to go do the deep dive, all right, then you have a full-on live expedition of ways that you done fucked up. And that requires shame, that requires some guilt, and that requires some man in the mirror time, but it stops the lies. So in essence, what happens now is that we believe our own lies. So we accept it to be true. Case in point, it's like everybody waiting in a line by a door, but nobody went to see if the door was open. We just assumed everybody else did it. It's groupthink. It's a dangerous way of thinking, but that's what people do. Everybody's waiting in line, but you went up and checked the door and it was open. Oh, it was open? All you had to do was give it a try. Most people don't want to give it a try. They want to see someone else fail and see it's not possible. A 4-minute mile, not possible. I'm possible is impossible, but you want to believe impossible instead of I'm possible. I'm over here flipping the script saying I'm possible, and you keep seeing the word impossible, and I keep pronouncing it I'm possible. And we go back and forth. So you can be right if you want to, but guess who's going to be positive? Guess who's going to make it possible because I think positive? Guess who's going to make it his option to stay in a positive mental attitude, so that way I can reframe, right? Saints Addiction, it's a reframing, saying that it's not all positive and no one is perfect, but at the same time, even a saint has addictions, right? Even I am the mistake master, but in my mistakes, I was willing to learn more, right? Like I'm willing to get up After I got punched, I'm willing to get up after the experiment. Most people are going, that looks like pain. I don't even want to touch it. I get it, bro. Hot stove. You don't want to touch it twice to learn the lesson. But some of these lessons, you're going to touch multiple times, like falling in love with somebody, right? Working at a company or what business you choose. All choices in your head, bro. And all of them are emotional. Like, what do I want to do when I graduate, or what degree do I want to go after, or what college do I want to go to, or what girl do I want to date, and what does my life look like after all this is said? And a lot of that stuff usually stops with some kind of dread. It usually stops with, oh, she won't love me because I'm not making no money, and then that becomes your truth. Or I can't go to college, the math is too hard, and that becomes your truth. So it's not that things are a lie or it's truth. It's, you realize them as truth. And it's just like that door. You're assuming that it's closed, but you didn't even try to knock it or open it to make sure that it wasn't locked. So like that in itself is your belief, right? If you're to believe it, right? If you are to believe it, you can achieve it, right? But most of us, we want to believe that all the answers are already in. We already did all the work. We already calculated it. There's no way I can get websites up. My buddy's like, bro, you can do it with AI now. I'm not fucking around. I'm like, no, you can't, bro. These websites are all fucked up. You don't understand. I'm convinced of my own lie. And then I started to believe his truth. And his truth was AI. It is faster. We just put up Site in an Hour yesterday, and you can go test it if you want to. Siteinanhour.com. You can demo it like we demoed it yesterday and put your site in seconds, literally. But it's a polished at, it's pre-alpha, but there it was. And he was right. And most of us will do anything to be right. So I can stay right? But it will get me wrong. Don't get me wrong when you're right? First I go right, then I go wrong. I can believe that I'm right and still be wrong. And it takes a real man to acknowledge that, right? It takes a real man or woman, if they got it, if you got the minerals, right? If you got the balls and ovaries to be real with yourself, I was wrong about that. The door was open. You can build sites with AI. And the fear that I believe, it's only false expectations appearing real. So all the lies that I told myself were lies. They were mirages, bro. I was convincing myself and trying to convince others. Like, I can't walk again. I'm Ricky Bobby in Talladega Nights. I'm convinced myself psychosomatically that I'm so injured I can't ever walk again. Oh yeah, I did the how's these make the joke? Oh yeah, I did the physical treatment. I did but I gave that up in like a day. That was just bullshit. I quit. And it was just like all the motivational speeches that we hear are people that had major injuries and didn't quit, were paraplegic but then learned how to walk again. Or that's kind of like, who was your boy with the fucking the sledgehammer tattoo to his a Brazilian guy who had his knee blow out by dirty ass Jones. John Jones was kept at his knees because he was so afraid of this guy. Alvarez? No, I can see him, but nobody saw him after the fight walking in wheelchairs trying to relearn because he blew out his ACLs because the homeboy was kicking him in the knees. It's bullshit. It's a dirty move and it should be illegal, but that's what ended up happening. So some people will do anything to win. I promise you it won't win in the end. The only thing you need to win is yourself. Let me say that again. The only thing you need to win is yourself. Your self-discipline, your habits, and your behaviors. Habits turn into behaviors, behaviors turn into characteristics, and that's who you are. And inside you, when it comes down to it and people are talking to you, and they'll see if you bitch made. They'll see if you won't have the minerals or the marbles or the wherewithal, the big old balls and ovaries to make it happen. Because what you would have done is explain to them how it can't happen. You didn't even notice it. You were just trying to rationalize, quote unquote, rationalize. You were trying to convince or understand, right? Like you were, here, let me convince you of why I can't do something. Let me show you the excuses I tell myself to stop me from my growth. And just like my friend, is this what stops me? Is this what ends me? I'm asking you, what stops you, bro? Is it COVID? My homie was talking about COVID. Then he mentioned, what was it? It was like, first it was COVID, good morning. First it was COVID, and then it was crypto. And then if it ain't crypto, it's the Crips, bro. It's just like, bro, you can use so many fucking excuses. It's not even funny. And you can believe them all you want, but that's just not me. So I'm in the world where I don't want to be that way, right? I don't want to see these things. I don't want to have this kind of reality. And this is why I keep going on in the morning to show people that this isn't what stops me. It's not going to be cold weather. It's not going to be hot weather. It's not going to be a girl. It's not going to be a habit. It's not going to be my own internal excuses. It's not going to be whatever I try to manipulate my own self into thinking like, oh yeah, you can keep eating the ice cream and you won't have weight in the morning. That's bullshit. That's a lie, and I can't lie to myself, and I refuse to lie. So it's just like, that was telling the truth. Saints Addiction was telling the truth up front, that I had flaws, that I wasn't as perfect as I'd like to be, or as saints can be. That's for Saints brand. But I'm perfectly flawed, just like you. I'm a human just like you, and I have to have either a goal or an excuse, and it just, one of them has to weigh out more than the other, because one of them's going to win. And that's what you got to ask yourself. One of them stopped the dream, or one of them continued to dream. And that's why I had to ask you this morning, what stopped you? You know what I'm saying? Like, what reached inside your soul and said, you're not good enough, or this won't work, or I'm sweating now, or, a lot of that shit. So it's one of these where I'm living in my dream, because I didn't let the food stop me. I didn't let the sugar stop me. You know what I'm saying? I let me get my abs on. I kept doing the push-ups every other day. You see me out here every morning. I had to give up cocaine. I had to give up women. I had to give up anger. I had to give up regret. I had to give up so many things that were stopping me, bro. That were drilling holes in my canoe. My temper, that was a hard one. But now I have Saints Addiction, bro. Now I have something more to weigh in on me than some outside curricular things. I have my brands to build. We have now Sight in an Hour to go after, right? I think my nose is still running. These things are all in my reach and possibility because I kept going. I kept seeing my dreams come true. There were visions in my eyes, and if I closed it tight enough, I could realize and really see it and dream in detail. So I was telling these young men yesterday when we were doing the podcast, you're 30 years old. I ask you what your business is about, and you can't explain it. If you can't do it crystal clear in 30 seconds or less, in the elevator, going up with the CEO, you're missing your opportunities. You're not prepared. And most of us are like that. I told my girlfriend, she probably would have talked the CEO's ear off about the weather. You would have wasted the day. He would have forgot the conversation, and no pitch was ever made. You're for sure not going to hit the shots that you don't take. But that's us, right? It's all of us, bro. I'm not going to take a shot. I could get swatted. I could get made fun of. What if I miss? What if I don't get the cheerleader? What if I'm not tall enough? What if? If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, oh, what a Merry Christmas we'd all have, bro. Do you feel me on that? If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a fucking Merry Christmas. It'd all just be laid out in front of us, but that wouldn't make the experiment or the experience fun. It's the fact that you don't know, right? You don't know when you're going to die. You don't know what's going to happen if you make that decision, and you don't know the future. It makes it exciting for me, right? For me, I'm like, that's awesome, because it means it's open. It's not preset. It's not destiny. It's not, I have to be this way the rest of my life. I don't have to be this way. I don't have to stay this way. I don't have to stay in jail. I don't have to stay in Pittsburgh. I don't have to stay angry. I don't have to listen to arguments. I don't have to get involved. I don't, it's not worth it. And I learned that from my own psychologist. It was like, if I put worth and amount and everything, like how much time is it going to cost me, how much energy it's going to cost me, how much emotionality is it going to cost me, then things start getting weighed differently, right? Like, why is this in front of me? And why am I concentrating so hard on it? These are questions you're going to have to ask yourself, bro. And it's the truth. And that's what we're down to from Saints Addiction, is getting to the truth. No one is perfect. No one has all the answers. And sure as fuck, it's not you. And it's not me. It's our excuses. And that's why I say it's on the other side of fear, because it is the other side of fear, the other side of your excuses, and the other side of the world is everything you've ever wanted, right? Cultures, languages, experiences, the things that give us viva in life, la vida loca. So, to get the best out of your life, right? To get the best out of your brain and out of your body, you're going to have to start telling yourself something different. You're going to have to start moving in a different pattern, right? It's not just going to happen. Again, Miss America ain't coming to that door and offering free blowjobs. No ma'am, no sir. But not for nothing, if you did have some game and you did show up and you started to work out, money, muscles, frame, and game, right? Money, muscles, frame, game. Yeah, I think that's what they say, right? Then you showed up as someone that's went past their excuses. Then you showed up as someone that doesn't believe in negativity. Then you showed up as someone that's a positive influence in someone's life. As in, I lost all this weight versus, and now I feel great versus, what about your boy, right? Eating all that motherfucking ice cream and then being depressed and not having no girls. Can't you see the private jets flying over you? Bro, somebody's on the hustle. Somebody's side hustle's paying them well. Somebody's side hustle's going down. It still showed no matter. Oof, nope. This kid, 12 years old, 11 years old, watching me with my shirt off, working out. I don't know if I can block people with that age or whatever's going on, but anyway, the kid was like, "Can you not smoke?" And I said, "You're a kid. You let me know what your addictions are when you become an adult. Obviously, you need to know what Saint's addiction is. It is weed, it is mushrooms, it is sex, it is still those things. I had to cut them down from 20 other things, right? Like it can't be nicotine and the cigarettes, that's got to come off. It can't be sex and chasing pussy all the time. That was an energy sucker, and I barely got anything out of it. I'm trying to get down to equilibrium here. I can't be my anger, because that sets me back and scares people away from me. It can't be my lack of ignition, right? If you have what's it called when you're what do you call that when you take too long to do something? Procrastination, right? Your lack of energy or intensity to the ignition is the reason why nothing ever happened. And that's why I started motivating these boys, like, let's record now. I don't want us just to have an hour-long conversation that no one else could come in and talk about. Why waste the hour-long conversation? We both click, we both got our dopamine rush off of each other, but no one else could get into the conversation. And that's what I loved about Periscope, is anyone could hop in at anywhere you are in the world and start having conversations with you and the people that made comments. So it's just a whole nother world. I think they'll bring it back, call it a prediction or whatever, but Sight in an Hour is back, right? App in an hour, video in an hour. I'm all about that life, bro. And as I make my life, as I make my workouts, as I make my abs, as I sweat my ass off every morning, I'm sweating out the demons. I'm sweating out the excuses. I'm living inside of my mind, body, and soul, and making sure that all three talk to each other evenly so that I can be a producer of my dreams. I'm the producer of my dreams. I'm the lead. I'm the lead actor. I'm the director and the producer. Oops. Look at that. So many clouds. You can't even see. Look at, they're above the clouds, bro. He just shot through the clouds. So that's what I'm talking about, bro. Let's shoot through the clouds. Let's stop fucking giving ourselves the excuses and start giving ourselves the opportunity. Let's start looking for it, because it's usually covered under hard work and gloves. And that's your boy, Mark Twain. It's one of my favorite quotes, but opportunity is everywhere, bro. For reals. Opportunity is like right in front of us, but usually it requires work. And that's what we do with like the positivity pebbles. Grab the pebbles, scrub the pebbles, paint the pebbles, make an Instagram, make a web page, Sight in an Hour, pebbles, positivitypebbles.com, and just try it. What else was I doing? What I was gonna do? Watch another special on YouTube, or go into a Hulu, or a binge watch at Netflix? No way, bro. I could be making and creating something that's never been done before, and now it's there. And then I wake up in the morning and my friend's like, "Hey Mark, can you send me pictures of all your cut shirts?" Because I used to cut shirts. I mentioned it yesterday. I was bored, I sat around, and I just got up, and I'm like, I need cardboard. I went outside to the right, and right in the fucking dumpster bin, the what's it called, the big dumpster that all the homeless people went through when I was living downtown, was a big fucking big box, because it had a hot water heater, right? Like I could fit in the box, but it had that thick ass cardboard so I could make stencils. So when I put it on the shirt, I just used chalk, and then now you have a peace sign, now you have a weed leaf, now you have a flower. All these things I had designs for, 10, 12, 15 designs, but I started going ham. Now my brain was active. Now I had something to do. I went from bored to occupied in no time flat, and I started expanding my own horizons and an opportunity to make more income. You take a $20 shirt, you cut it, it's now a $100 shirt. Isn't that weird? Right? You cut my brand new shirt, but there was a line of 20 girls waiting to look all sexy with the braided shirts and the cut shirts. handing their money over. Boyfriend, $20, $30 new shirt, no problem. And where's the other 70? I'm gonna go get it cut by this nice young lady. So they literally sold it at the stand, the nice brand new shirt, and the girl had a line next to the stand for cutting them, right? So it's just one of these things where you have to ask yourself what kind of opportunity you want to give yourself. You have to go inside your own brain and say, what have I been letting stop me? You know, is it my addictions to sugar? Is it my addictions to pussy? Is it my addiction to drugs? Then you got Saint's addiction, right? Or is it my excuses? Is it the way that I treat myself? Is it the way that oh yeah, I was supposed to go work out this morning, instead of I get to work out this morning. I get an hour to sweat out the demons, push down the demons, exercise the demons, and exercise my body and feel better about my situation, pump myself full of endorphins, natural dopamine, not synthetic ones. And now I'm me. I'm in tune with myself. I'm in tune with my body. I'm in tune with my feelings, and I'm not chasing anything. And that's why I felt the way that I did this morning, because it was so nice to be able to get up here, even though it's overcasty and cold. I now am sweating and stretching and exercising, and that gives me the energy and the positivity that I have to battle the things later in the day. So people ask me, how do you do it? Shit, bro. Regular exercise, stay hydrated, right? I drink about one of these every day, or maybe two, right? That gets the fat away, but it also keeps my brain hydrated. Yeah. And the more hydrated I am, the more clearly I can think. And if the endorphins are working, then my brain's not in brain fog. And when I'm exercised, stretched, and ready every morning, then I'm in complete control over my life, my emotions, my decisions, and the possibilities that I create. So it wasn't just a fakeness. It's not something that you just fake your way into it. It's not going to be done for you. Watch me do my crossover. Watch me do between the legs. You know what I mean? I got to practice it. And the way that you practice in life is the way that you're going to play in game. And they call it game speed. Well, you need to practice game speed at practice so that you're at game speed in the actual game. And this is the whole the framework of your mind, the way that you look at things, the way that you treat yourself, the way that you treat objectives or obstacles or anything coming up in your world. You're like, this is what ends me. This is my hell. Instead of, this is my opportunity. This is my time to shine. This is my time to rise. And that sounds more like a phoenix than a patsy. And you don't want to be a patsy. You don't want to be a whipping boy. You don't want to be powerless. You want to be empowered. You want to have all the skill sets that God intended for you to have, or the universe, or you yourself personally. I gave it to myself. I gave myself my knees back. I keep exercising my shoulders. I keep working on my temper. All these things deserve and need my full attention and possibility. Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck's going on? It's up there. You see it? Wow. You never know, bro. You never know. So give yourself a shot, bro. That's that simple this morning. We have to have this conversation, but it's true. Don't believe you. Stop listening to yourself. Start pumping it with the actual program. Go, hey, this program starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and lift off. And now you're doing Mel Robbins. Getting up in the morning, you're now ignited to come after the day. You're not dreading the day. You're kicking the covers off instead of pulling them on. You can't wait to start the day. Can't get your juices flowing. Get the sunshine on your eyeballs. Hear the birds chirp, the wind, the thunder, the rain. It's all part of it, man. It's all the same. So the way you talk to yourself, the way you react to your feelings, man, the things that you let stop you are all adding up to who you are right now. So this is my life, homie. You decide yours. Are you going to say, oh, I can't travel the world because I got no money? I just did, right? Oh, I can't lose the weight because I'm addicted to sugar. I just did, right? You know what I mean? Oh, I can't find a healthy relationship because all these women keep aborting my babies and getting in arguments with me and leaving me. I just did. So, I could believe it. I could listen to my ex and said, nobody will ever love you. I could have listened to my mom. She said I was just like my father. I could have listened to myself and said, this is too hard. But I don't talk to myself that way. I never said that before. I never give up. I never give in. And nothing's going to stop me. Can't stop, won't stop. And that's where you're in. You're in my world now. Saints Addiction. So thank you for your time. That's 30 minutes of mine. I hope you like, share, and subscribe. But most importantly, get on the other side of fear, bro. Get on the other side of your excuses. Get to the other side of the world and see that you've been lying to yourself the whole time, just like I did. I had to see it. Like, I had to come clean with it. And that's what they say, come clean or get sober, or, you know, finally realize that you're powerless to these drugs or behaviors. And then you can start to build. Then you can start tackling it, because now you know where you're starting from. And that's all we need, bro. We need a starting point, and we need some belief, and we need to show ourselves time and time again that we can count on ourselves. And that's what I want you to have. Self-empowerment, willpower, which is one of my shirts. Make sure you order one. I use the Tap Out logo. It's called Willpower. And of course, negative self-belief. You're gonna need that positive mental attitude, and the rest is history, because you write history. One day at a time. Peace and love on my heart from the start. Your boy Marky Saint. And as always, Chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever and finish. And I will see you on the other side. As soon as you like, share, subscribe. The other side of fear, the other side of your excuses, all the bullshit that you've been telling yourself, right? No more, no less, brother. No more, no less. We don't have to do that shit. No more, no less, no stress. In fact, let's live today. Bless. Peace. I'll see you on the other side. Ciao.